Hi, I'm Construction Gamer, and this is Celtic City on City Skylines. This is going to be episode number 37 in the series, and in this episode we're going to be concentrating on a bit of a banking / IT cluster sector on the outskirts of the city centre. But before I do that, I just thought I'd show you the station and the cargo hub that we built in the last episode. I've done a tiny bit of detailing with some shrubbery and things just around the edge, some containers and this little reach stacker, some trailers as well. Still got a bit of work to do with regards to the quay on the outside that needs to be extended, and just need to do a bit more detailing with some brushes and shrubs and things like that just to make it look a bit better, but pretty pleased with how it's turned out so far. We've got this western part of the city connected up. We've got a bit of office around here which just been just put in around there, so yeah, that's looking alright, I think. The population is only about 69. I have tried to increase that a little bit since the last episode, so I've started building some more terraced houses just on this slope of this side of the hill or mountain here, just to try and get that population up a little bit. I've also put in a couple of 3 towers within the actual city centre itself. These have got about 37 households in. I do think these are fitting, like I said in I think last episode or a couple of episodes back, about the housing boom after World War II in Britain. Basically the government or the councils built a lot of high-rise buildings just to try and get people housed between the 1950s and the 1970s. A lot of concrete structures were put up, even in more historic city centres, just to try and get the housing built back after a lot of the housing was demolished, or not demolished but blown up during the war itself. Was bombed during the war, so they were hastily erected, and some of them did end up within more protected city centres because they couldn't really be too picky. They just needed to get that housing built. So the point I'm trying to make is I think this is fitting for a UK style city. Still a bit to do within the city centre itself, probably about almost 2/3. We've got this final little bit here to do, but the actual banking sector isn't going to be in the city centre itself. It's just going to be on the outskirts. I do feel that it'd be a bit too much within this city centre. I know we've got one modern high skyscraper or tall building within the old town city centre, but I think what I've got planned will just look a bit too out of character. But the development has been permitted in this part of the city. I've already set out the road layout for this sector, and I've put in some public transport as well. So we've got this new line which comes from Celtic City South, from the Celtic Triangle area, non-stop all the way, and it comes into the city centre itself, but I'll also put a stop in here. And again, this line which goes towards the east, the far east end of the city, comes in, stops here. Now, these stops are quite close together, but it's not the end of the world, and they do serve a function of connecting everything up together. So the public transport's in place and the roads are in place. This is going to be another plot development because I didn't want this to grow on its own. I've just if we look at districts, we've got this district. It's not going to stay Kent Square. I just haven't decided what I want to call it yet, but I could just make it an IT cluster and just see what appears from the high-tech buildings pack. But I didn't want the repetition of buildings that it sometimes generates. So what I'm going to do is actually plot the buildings one by one. But before I do that, I just want to get in a nice big public square in the middle, like so. And before I start any building, what I need to do with the paths, have we got prop anarchy? Turn prop anarchy off. We need road anarchy on, and what I need to do is I'm going to use the trade school path because it looks quite nice, and I'm just going to cover this side of the road. And the reason I'm doing that is to stop the zoning, like you can see there. No, not like that. We don't want a bridge. That's a bit of a random place. Let's force the ground up to that. So what this basically does is it shifts the zonable area to where we actually want it, rather than, we don't want it on this road here because this is a main thoroughfare to the city itself, so we don't really want any development on here. So it's using pavements is a good way of shifting the zonable area to the side that you want it. And again, with this ring road, you don't want any development on the ring road really, if we can help it, so bring that in there like so. And again, on roundabouts is a really good idea to do this as well. You can do it without anarchy, but it does help to have road anarchy turned on for this, because it can be a bit tricky otherwise, especially with using the nicer looking footpaths. It's possible with the concrete ones to do it without anarchy, but with this, anarchy is preferred, I think. So if you just cover that up, it just gets rid of the zonable area on the roundabout, which you don't really want buildings zoned on a roundabout anyway. So we've done that, move that in there. Now what we want to do is put some footpath connections in so people can actually walk to work if they choose to. Walking should be considered a part of the public transport offer. That hasn't taken the new zoning, so if you just come in with the road and just upgrade it, it just puts that zoning back, and you can see now all the zoning is on this quarter, or this section rather. So I'm going to bring that into out there. We've got our connections in. I think what we need is a couple of crossings, and I just wanted to put a path down the middle like so. Come in with the move it mod and just move those a bit closer just so it looks a bit better. And that's the basic setup. Now what I want to use for this is if we click off that, we want offices. We want to have a look first at the high tech ones that are available. So these would form your IT cluster. So I want to use quite a few of these. I'm just looking at how big the buildings are. I've got this one here, this great big building that can be like the central feature of this particular area, and then just around it. I don't want them to be spaced too close together, because I do want it to be quite open and modern and airy. I don't want it all to be just really kind of dark and shadowy. So if we just put in the buildings quite far apart, this one here wants to be long way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a bit of this road here, plug that in somewhere. Like so, and then come in. What did I want to use? What was I looking at? That one. So I want this to be flat on to the actual road itself. So otherwise it'd be like that if you just put that road in. You could do this with Move It, but I just find this is better, and it just it ensures that you have a road connection as well. So I think I'll put in a car park there. With this little side street though, the only thing is you need to put in an asphalt decal, so we need to see all, and we need to spell asphalt right, and then we just get this one here, the ploppable square, with anarchy on, and that just, with this there's just a tiniest smidge of blue mantle, so you can just cover that up like so. Gets rid of that blue mantle, and we've got some parking behind. I do want this a bit further out. This road needs to come up, and I do excuse me, if we go back to the Grobles, go back to the offices, we've got to scroll all the way back. No we don't, we just put high tech in. These, yeah, I just want to put in some buildings, these can be close together, I guess, just to cover that parking up. I don't want the parking to be on display really, if I can help it, and I don't like those colours, so I prefer that one there. So I'm going to copy that, and make sure all these are the same colour with the building painter mod, like so. So we've got our tall building, and we do want some parking, but obviously we don't really want it to be too much on display. Let's just have a quick look at what other buildings we have to play with. I want to put some of the bigger ones in initially, like that one. This one's quite tall. Actually, yeah, I'll put that one in on the corner there. I think I'm going to leave like an open vista to that, and to accentuate that, I think what we want is a plaza in front of that, so that's like centre stage really. It's got the vista to it, and then we just have a look, see what else we have. That's too big. Will that fit? Just. And then get in a few more buildings. Some of them can be repeated. The smaller ones don't look too bad if they're repeated. Just going to put in I'm going to put in something. Yeah, it just looks a bit empty around this area, so I've just come in with the road. So let me do that. I need to turn off the crossings a second because that creates a node. Just put those in there, and then these ones here, like so. Don't look too bad. Like that. I think it just would have looked a bit empty otherwise. I mean, what I'm going to do at some stage is come back in here and detail it all out, so it does really look quite a nice area. It's all modern, but just for now, I'm just going to put a bit of paint down. But I do want to really detail this area with decals and things like that, just to show off this area in all its glory. Now, one of the things I wanted to do was take a look at the I've forgotten what it's called, but it's the content creator pack, the high density low rise content creator pack. There are a few buildings within the pack which can actually be used together to create one big building, and they do look rather good. So we'll just see if we can find it. This one here. So this needs a road. I'm going to use the side streets again. I'm just going to build it. Where am I going to build it? Here. And what you do is you come in and you have like, you got like a corner building there, and then there's a central building, and then another corner. And you can see we are like creating one big complex. This needs to be 3 deep, so I'm going to put another side street in, and then just do the same on this side, like so. And by doing that, you've created one big building which looks rather good. And all we need to do is we just if we get the move it mod, move it. I want to select all of these, and then we want all the heights to be the same, so we don't have any difference in heights. And then we just want to I'm just going to create my own colour. Don't like that. Don't want it to be too dark and black, but I do need it to be muted, something like that. So I can copy that colour, and then I can paste this colour to all of these, so it just looks like one giant building. And it does look rather good. There are a couple of these buildings within the pack itself which can be used together to create one building, so you really can create your own look for your city. What do we want to do? We just want a bit of parking behind, I think, so I'm going to put some parking on this side street. And again, we just need to get rid of this blue mantle with the dropped decal, so we put that in there, and then just get rid of that blue mantle, because that can be seen when you zoom out as well, so you really don't want it to be showing. I don't mind too much about the difference in colour of the concrete. I can live with that. It's just the actual blue mantle itself. So if I put in a path like that and then connect that up like that, not happy with that. I think people can walk there, but not entirely sure. Bring that out, and yeah, that'll do like that. I think I'll do some detailing or probably just some trees in there actually. So leave that. We've got a bit of a shopping complex within the development itself. You don't want all banks. They do need somewhere to shop and relax during their lunch hour. Growable. So if we go back to the offices and high tech again, see what we've got. Offices, high tech. Let's have a look at these. I think these little ones could be used in a row like that. Do I want them to be? No. If you get them all, then move just slightly, ever so slightly out a bit, because there are windows there, and they all want to be the same colour. So I'm going to get rid of the Move It mod. I'm going to pick the colour, which is this one, and then paste that on these, just so it looks like it's a single development rather than individual buildings, like so. And then I think, not sure what we're going to do behind. Probably just for now, just paint it with paintbrush. Just get some concrete down, like so. And there's a bit of a space here. I'll probably come in with a bit more side street. These side streets really are handy if you don't want to put a full road in. Sometimes it's not quite right to have a full road in, but these do help. Did have some building. I looked at some buildings before, which these ones, no, these are too big. So, but I think these match each other. So if I'm gonna have like a development like that, that's like one big development. I think that needs some parking behind it. I'm going to use my own created level parking for this, so chuck some of that in, like so, and a bit of pavement across there. I'm not quite sure what's happened here, but I'm not going to be building there anything. I'm going to be building anything there anyway, so it's not the end of the world. So just bring that in, bring that over to match. I think I will just leave this whole square open and come in later with decals and things like that, just to make it look a lot better than it currently does. I know there's a lot. I don't want too much concrete on display. What was I doing over here? I was looking for something. If we put a couple of them in, and then I was looking for a little building to go in. That's not little, is it? That can go over here somewhere. What's that? Something like that. Yeah, and then come in with my 2x4 parking, and that doesn't look too bad. So you can see what we're trying to achieve here is sort of it's a very modern development. I'm taking my inspiration a bit from Canary Wharf, which is in London, which is basically started developing in the late 80s, and it's just grown into a huge big banking and IT and high-rise sector. That's where most of London's large buildings are, so I'm trying to take an inspiration from that. I think what I want to do is just not, because we're plopping, we don't have to, if I just put in like a high-tech cluster, then all we would have available are the high-tech buildings within that theme. So you are limited to those, but as we're plopping our buildings one by one, we can actually be a bit more selective in the buildings that we put down, so we can mix and match some of the high density residential buildings as well. No, I don't like the look of that. Might use some of the low rise high density buildings within here as well, but there's plenty of more room to develop the look of this place. You can see all these modular buildings here as part of the same pack, which can be used, but we are just looking for, am I actually on high density? I am. I thought there was more tall buildings in this. keep scrolling until we find something interesting. We've already got one of those. We've already just placed one of them. What's that? No, they're tiny. So are they. Yeah, well, you can mix and match when you can find an actual building that you like the look of. Yeah, I think we've got enough there anyway. What's this? This is a shopping mall. Right, I think what I want next to that is... I'll put that in. Doesn't look too bad with the smaller car parks facing, but I just don't like the thought of these bigger car parks being on the main high street and visible, because they're not attractive, but they just help to add a little bit of realism to the area. I think that's going to be decals at some stage. Behind here, possibly. Yeah, so that is the sort of look we're going for. I'm going to continue to develop this off camera. I'll do the detailing off camera, because that is when I really do start to go quiet and start to have to concentrate on what I'm doing. I'm still trying to master this talking and building let's play sort of style. You indicated in the comments that you do like or prefer the let's play style, so I'm going to try and continue that. Let me know how I'm getting on. Obviously I probably could improve a little bit talking and building, but yeah, if you're enjoying this, then do let me know in the comments below. One thing I wanted to say before I sign off is I was thinking, or I wasn't thinking, but I definitely need to build an airport at some point in the game. We really are overdue for an airport, I think, but I'm just not sure about what to do. I was thinking about using one of the airports that we do have within the game itself. They don't look too bad. I think people say about the runways are quite short and things like that, and there are mods and assets which can be used to build custom airports, but I'm just wondering if I have the RAM to be installing new mods and if I want to be downloading mods. So let me know in the comments or on Twitter or on the Discord if you think you'd like to see me build a custom airport, then do that. Otherwise, I was thinking I'm going to try to make the airport look as good as it can. Actually, one of the ideas that I had is I was going to take the vanilla airport and try and make it look better, try and really detail around the actual airport itself, ignoring the possibly shorter runways and things like that, and just try and develop around the airport and try and make the most of the actual vanilla assets that we have without going and downloading extra assets, because I am trying to be careful now. I mean, I do have, in terms of RAM, I've got a spare 6 or 7 gig of RAM, which sounds a lot, but once you start adding extra assets, I was taking a look at excuse me, the UK roads by what's his name, Welshman, that creator who's created a UK roads pack. I was thinking of subscribing to some of those assets, but you do need extra assets, so I've got to be careful and choose wisely which assets I actually subscribe to. So again, let me know on Twitter, on the comments, or on Discord if you'd like to see me building an airport, or if you're happy for me to use one of the vanilla airports or two of the vanilla airports that we have available to us, and just try and jazz them up a bit with some assets and detailing around the outside. But I think that's enough for today. It's a good start, I think. I'm quite pleased with how this is looking so far. I'll leave you with that view, and obviously I'm going to leave you with the cinematic at the end as well. So that's the episode for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, do hit the like button. It really does help channels get noticed. So leave it there for today and say until next time, bye bye.